Nova Club.
Now, here comes the music.
Le salon musical de Radio Nova.
Check this out.
Le Nova Club. Nova. Avec David Bowie.
Mr. Nile Rodgers dans le studio, dans le Nova Club. Nile Grégory Rodgers avec nous. Thank you to be here.
I'm very happy to be here. How are you?
Very, very good. I think it's the first time you come to Radio Nova. And,
yes.
And this radio is here since 81.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And I don't know how many tracks we must have played of you, or some production you did, or some hip-hop sample things. So it's an honor to have you at least in the studio of Radio Nova.
Thank you.
And you're with your guitar.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a special story with guitar, right?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Tell
it's
us.
very special. This is the 1959 Stratocaster that I've made a lot of hit records with, so we nicknamed it the Hitmaker.
Ok, alors la guitare s'appelle le Hitmaker parce qu'il l'a depuis des années. Il a fait un nombre pas possible de hits avec. Since so long did you have it?
Yeah, I've had it since 1973.
1973, the same guitar?
Yes.
Ok, donc depuis 1973. So all your hits were done on this guitar?
Most of them, yes.
Most of them. Okay, from the Chic, Sister Sledge thing.
Sister Sledge, Diana Ross, Madonna, Bowie.
Let's Dance, you did it?
Yeah. On this guitar.
Donc Nile Rodgers avec cette guitare qui a fait tous les hits. Nile Rodgers, il est à Paris, il fait une petite promo parce qu'il y a un nouveau disque de Chic qui va sortir. Is it a LP or is it just the single we just heard? We're gonna hear in a minute.
Yeah, just the single now, because I wanted to release this on a very special day.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that we were going to have a total solar eclipse up in the north. So I released it on March 20th to go with the solar eclipse.
Ok, alors pour l'instant c'est qu'un single, il voulait le sortir pour l'éclipse, donc c'était exactement la semaine dernière. The Young Kids, the Martinez Brothers, which I knew when we were 15 years old, are the producer of that track?
No, they're not the producers, but they're playing percussion on it with me.
Because I thought it was strange to have such young kids producing you, so they play drums on the record. And on this record you sampled some things that the late date Tony Thompson or Bernard Edwards did in the time.
No, it's not a sample. It's the actual real track.
It's the actual. It was a Sister Sledge track.
Yeah, it was. The way we make Chic records is we play the end first, and we get the groove down. And once we get the groove, then we go back and read the music to have that groove.
So so it was a Sister Sledge, but the track.
It was an outtray. It was never used.
Ok, alors à la base c'est un morceau de Sister Sledge qu'il a fait avec les gens qui étaient dans le groupe Chic, qui sont décédés depuis. Donc Tony Thompson à la batterie et surtout Bernard Edwards, le bassiste de Chic, puisqu'ils ont fondé le groupe ensemble. Et c'est un morceau de Sister Sledge dont il s'était jamais servi. Et c'est ce morceau qui a donné la base à donc ce nouveau disque de Chic featuring Nile Rodgers. That's the appropriate name now.
Yeah, because I wrote the song.
Ok, et donc il a fait la chanson lui-même. The singers are the girls from the time, or
yes. So it's everybody. It's it's Lucy and Alpha and Fonzie Thornton from back in the day. My current girls now, and so Falami and Kimberly, and also what we did was, because the song is about Everybody Dance, it's about the first song. I also have little cameos from Luther Vandross and all the people who sang on the first record.
Ok, alors il a repris les chanteuses de l'époque, les chanteuses avec lesquelles il est, et puis aussi quelqu'un comme Luther Vandross avec lequel il avait, qui était aussi dans les backing vocals d'à peu près tous les morceaux de Chic de l'époque. Bon, on va l'écouter, let's listen to this, and if you want to play guitar on it, it's a pleasure for us. I'll be there, Chic, avec évidemment Nile Rodgers.
Into the disco scene.
past, but it's a nice place to visit. And if you come along, I'll be there. If you come along, I'll be there. And if you come along, I'll be there. And if you come along, I'll be there. If you come along, equal days and nights all around the world. There was an explosion. The clock keeps turning. I was more alive. As we worship music and it symbolized devotion. Slash after slash after slash. I appreciate all the gifts I was given. Now I don't wanna live in the past, but it's a nice place to visit. So if you come along, I'll be there. If you come along, I'll be there. And if you come along, I'll be there. And if you come along, I'll be there. If you come along.
I'll be there. Donc Nile Rodgers avec nous et avec des parties de guitare en plus. I can't believe you keep the same guitar since 1973. It's unbelievable.
It's the truth.
Yeah, it never was broken, never been stolen, nothing.
No, I lost it a few months ago.
Oh.
But I got it back. I used to be a race driver when I was younger, and sometimes car companies let me borrow cars. And I don't want to tell this, but it's the truth.
It's in France.
Okay, good. Yeah. So Toyota let me borrow their race car, and it was at my house for a few months. And I got in the car and I drove as fast as possible, and I got to the end of the train line. Right after the train had just entered the station, about 5 minutes after. And we went on and we found the guitar.
Ok, bon alors c'est une histoire de... Je vous laisse la comprendre l'histoire, mais en tout cas, cette guitare a failli être perdue et il l'a quand même retrouvée. Let's go back into the time. You were born in 1952. You have a complicated story. You did a great book about telling your story, so we're not gonna go into the full details about it. But who did give you the love of music? Was it your parents? Was it some neighbors? Was it the family? Was it just things you hear on the radio?
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Your parents were listening to good music too?
Great music.
Great
Jazz.
music?
Yes.
Jazz?
Yeah.
Okay, you started quite young in a band. You were playing on Sesame Street show. You were in a backing band at the Apollo Theater.
Yes.
Yeah. So you were like, I don't know, which legend did you play with when you were quite young?
Oh, everybody. Parliament Funkadelic, Aretha Franklin, Screaming Jay Hawkins. Oh, well, my name is Mr. Speedo. Their real name is Earl Lewis and the Channels.
Okay.
I'm remembering the set now. So many, it's almost impossible to tell.
How old were you at the time?
Maybe 19, 20.
Voilà, alors donc à 19-20 ans, donc très jeune, il est dans la musique, il joue sur ce show qui s'appelle Sesame Street, et puis surtout, il fait partie d'un backing band qui est à l'Apollo Theater, et donc tous les noms qu'il a cités, c'est les artistes qui l'accompagnaient à l'époque sur scène. I have quite kind of a little game for you. Normally people came with records in this show, but I'm gonna offer you some records and you're gonna choose one.
Okay.
So I started with the 50s and the 60s and blah blah. So what do you want to listen in the 50s? Do you want to listen to Billie Holiday, Day In Day Out, Sam Cooke for Sentimental Reasons, or Johnny Mathis, who you work with after
Yes.
with Misty? It's your choice.
Look at me. I guess Johnny Mathis, because like you said, I've worked with him.
Ok, Johnny Mathis qui chante cette petite merveille qui s'appelle Misty, c'était en 1959. So it was a lover choice. It was a lover choice.
Yes, it was. It was.
Donc c'était Johnny Mathis. You worked with Johnny Mathis, but years later. After.
Yes. Come on, of course, a lot of years later. He's a wee bit older than me.
Yeah.
But he's such a great guy. I saw him about a year and a half ago, and he still sounds fantastic. I think he still sings this in the same key.
It's incredible because it must be old, I guess.
Yeah, but he doesn't look old, though. He's his magic is in his veins. He looks really good.
Did you met Elvis Polanka, which is still alive? I don't know, what's his name, the guy who did Cherry and all. Frankie Valli, was he still alive?
I know Frankie Valli. I didn't meet Paul Anka, though.
You meet Polanka. But you meet like everybody you wanted to meet, but who are still alive, I guess.
Yeah,
No?
I guess.
Yeah.
No, not everybody.
Not everybody?
It's funny how there are so many people that are in my business that you would think that we know each other, but it's not true. The famous songwriter Diane Warren, I just met for the first time a few months ago with Lady Gaga. I had never met her in my life, and no one could believe that we didn't know each other.
Okay. Alors, je lui ai demandé s'il a rencontré à peu près tout le monde, presque, mais pas tout le monde. You tell a very funny story, which I remember that now in your book. You say that, I think it was in the 80s in New York, you had a neighbor, an English neighbor at one point, and this guy was Tony Visconti, and
Yeah.
you didn't know.
He's right next. I mean, right next door neighbor. Like I was in A and he was in B.
It's an incredible story, and both of you didn't recognize each other.
We didn't know each other, and we got to meet each other. And it was unfortunate for me because I got to meet him while I was doing David Bowie, Let's Dance.
Okay.
And he had done almost every other Bowie record.
So it was at the time of Let's Dance.
Yeah, it was during Let's Dance. So I was like, "Oh man, listen to my new." Oh right.
Because he was.
Yeah.
He
had done the last record and the last few records.
Ok. Je raconte cette anecdote qu'il raconte en détail dans son livre qui est assez drôle. C'est qu'à un moment, il a eu comme voisin Tony Visconti. Tony Visconti, c'était le producteur officiel de David Bowie. Mais les deux ont été voisins pendant des mois sans se parler, sans savoir que l'un était l'autre. Puis à un moment, ah bon, mais qu'est-ce que tu fais dans la vie? Je suis producteur. Ah bon, qu'est-ce que tu produis? David Bowie. Ah bah moi aussi, je produis David Bowie. Parce que c'était à l'époque où ils ont fait Let's Dance. Let's go to the 60s, because the 50s you were quite young, I guess.
Yeah, I was born.
Yeah, you're born. People like Billie Holiday or Sam Cooke, did you saw them live or no? No, okay. No. You starting seeing jazz artists live, I guess you.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of jazz artists, but not them.
And did you have a show you remember when you were young? Like,
Yes.
Yes, so.
Yeah, I remember seeing Miles Davis. It was either because my parents would take me out almost every night. I always tell the stories I tell this story as if it was a club called the Village Vanguard, but it actually could have been a number of clubs. I'm not positive. But when I saw him, it was fantastic. He stood out on the edge of the stage. And I don't know if I could say this on the radio, but...
You can.
I can say anything?
Yeah, you can say
anything.
anything.
Oh, awesome. I love France.
You can.
So he walks out on the edge of the stage and he goes, "The motherfucking music always sounds better when you know who's playing it." And he introduced the band before they played one note of music. It was fantastic. And I actually use that routine every now and then when I'm introducing my band.
Ok, alors maintenant il se sert de ce qu'il a vu faire. Miles Davis, was it in the 60s? When was it?
Yeah, it was in the early 60s.
Ok, au début des années 60, il a vu Miles Davis sur scène. Et Miles Davis sur scène est arrivé donc avec la voix qu'a imité Nile Rodgers. Et il a dit la putain de musique sonne mieux quand vous savez qui joue. Et il s'est mis à introduire tous les artistes qui étaient sur scène avec lui. Et depuis, Nile Rodgers aussi, quand il est sur scène, il commence par introduire les musiciens avec lesquels il travaille. The 60s, I guess the 60s was a booming area for everything in New York, and you were a teenager. So I guess you took a little amount of drugs, you took an amount of alcohol, girls, and music.
Who told you? You read the book?
Yeah, I read the book.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, okay.
You told me you were making ecstasy when you were young. You told me that
We
story.
did. We used to make ecstasy at our school.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry.
It was a really good school. It was an extracurricular.
So you were selling ecstasy and things like that? Or
I wasn't
just...
selling it, no.
Oh, you were taking it?
Taking it.
Okay. Bon, la drogue,
Selling it, no.
I don't know. You could. Extra money. If you were making it, you could have... voilà, mais donc,
We weren't making that much of it.
Ok, donc il faisait un petit peu d'ecstasy. You told me about a necklace with ecstasy or a story like that the last time we met?
The necklace.
Or some fabrics in tissue with ecstasy.
Oh, no. You must be thinking... No, what we used to do is there's a chemical agent called DMSO.
Mm-hmm.
That must be what you're talking about. And we would put the ecstasy in the DMSO and you spray it.
Yeah,
on
ok, voilà.
Yeah.
Ils avaient fait un parfum d'ecstasy, grosso modo. C'était ça qu'ils faisaient durant sa jeunesse. So it was a crazy time in the 60s. What do you want to listen to in the 60s? Is it like the Booker T, Green Onions, which I think is a great funk
It is
track.
a great song.
Aretha Franklin, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman.
Another great song. Has nothing to do with ecstasy, though. But okay, go ahead, carry on.
Every song is great, I hope. Or something a bit more rock, The Box Tops with The Letter.
I'm going to go with Booker T. And the only reason why is because this was a musician's staple. Like every R&B band had to play this song.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody. You had to do this.
Okay.
It was
It's
like
one of the first real funk tracks ever. Okay. C'était en 1962 et donc tous les musiciens quand ils répètent, ils devaient jouer ce morceau, ils devaient le connaître sous le bout des doigts. Est-ce que Mélanie Mallet est prête? C'est merveilleux. Green Onion, c'est Booker T en 1962. Booker T en 1962, donc le morceau avec lequel tous les groupes s'entraînaient pour jouer de la musique. When did you meet Bernard Edwards? Was it in the Apollo Theater, the Sesame Street time, or?
Around the same time, but it was before the Apollo Theater.
Ok, donc avant l'Apollo Theater, il rencontre Bernard Edwards. Bernard was a bit older than you?
No, younger.
Younger, okay.
Yeah. I was born in September. He was born in October.
Okay,
just a little younger.
Just a month, okay. Donc Bernard Edwards est un peu plus jeune d'un mois que Nile Rodgers qui est avec nous ce soir. But you told me that Bernard is the one that you will always do things more complicated, and Bernard was the one
simple.
Take that note away, take that note
Absolutely.
away, take that note away. Voilà, donc Bernard Edwards, quand Nile Rodgers jouait, because why was it complicated? Because you grew up from the jazz thing?
Correct.
Okay.
You are so smart. Why don't you just do all the talking
No,
and I would just go, yes.
I prefer you tell the story
it's
again.
fantastic. That way you don't have to do the translation. You just do it and then say...
Bon, alors Bernard Edwards, je lui disais à chaque fois, simplifie, tu fais trop de choses compliquées parce qu'il venait du jazz. Et
Oui.
donc, voilà, oui. Maybe I tell stupid things you don't know. Do you know French a bit?
A bit.
A bit? Why?
Why?
No, what?
Oh, not much. I can order food.
Ouais,
I can talk to girls sometimes. But no. You please do what you're doing. It's perfect.
in the 70s, you had quite a success with a band called Chic.
I remember them.
We started with Bernard, and it was some like 4-5 crazy years.
No, it was only 2.5 crazy years. The rest of the years were, I don't even know what to call them. We started basically recording as Chic in 1977. by 1979, we were pretty over. The summer of 1979, we had our last hit record. We did continue to put out records, but nothing was successful because in 1979, they had Disco Sucks, and we were considered the premier disco band, and we never got another hit record under the name Chic. However, in the following year, in 1980, we had one of our biggest records ever, which was Diana Ross, Diana.
Ok. Alors, en fait, ça a duré 2 ans et demi l'aventure, de 77 quand ils ont commencé à enregistrer jusqu'à 79, parce qu'il y a eu ce truc atroce, on n'a pas le temps de détailler là, qui s'appelle le Disco Backlash, Disco Sucks. Et à partir de là, ils étaient le groupe à abattre et c'était un peu terminé pour eux, mais pas vraiment terminé. The funny story is when Chic is kind of over the first part, then you and Bernard are doing crazy selling records like Madonna or David Bowie for you.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Mel Sheeran from the Studio 54 is saying that the biggest queen of disco is Madonna, and she comes after the disco time. It's a bit the same.
Right, which is funny, right?
Yeah, it's a bit the same story. For Chic was huge selling, of course, but the fact that disco was dead, but at that time Bowie is calling you, Madonna is calling you, and you're making, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people, music historians call Like a Virgin the last Chic album because that's basically Chic playing on almost every song. And we're certainly playing on Like a Virgin and Material Girl and all that stuff. And
were you worried at the crossroad of the 70s and the 80s? You were like, oh man, it's going to be tough times? Or it was okay?
I wouldn't call it worried because I don't worry about music like that. I just do what I hear. And most of the time I'm wrong, but every now and then I'm right. And when I'm right, it's really big. When I'm wrong, it's just like everybody else. It's
Okay.
just nothing.
Ok, donc en fait, il se fait pas trop de soucis parce que quand il fait une erreur, bon, c'est juste une erreur, c'est pas grave. Puis quand il fait quelque chose de bien, ça devient quelque chose d'énorme. Je lui ai demandé s'il avait il a pas eu un peu peur de la fin du disco. Et après, quand le disco est terminé et quand Chic était le groupe à abattre, il s'est mis à produire. Je traduis un petit peu, je condense tout ce qu'on s'est dit. Il s'est mis à produire des artistes qui ont vendu des millions comme David Bowie ou comme Madonna. The last time I met you, told me a crazy story. You told me that when Good Times was out, Good
Yeah.
Times the single, you didn't knew it's gonna be a hit. You think it was over for you. The last success was Le Freak, and you were a guest on a TV show, and you have to rehearsal the song because you didn't knew the
We
song.
didn't know
at
it.
all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a funny story too.
So when we put out the record in the old days, we never really thought of ourselves as stars. So we didn't realize that after having a record as big as Le Freak, that radio looked at us as important. But we didn't know that they did. So we put out the record and radio added it right away. And the next thing you know, within a few days, everybody knew Good Times. But we didn't know Good Times because we were studio musicians. So we would just write out the music and then we would play it. And then we figured, well, once the record becomes big, we'll add it to the show. So it wasn't out long enough, we thought, for it to mean anything. But, we did this gig and everybody's screaming for Good Times. So we had to learn it.
Ok, alors ce qui est très très drôle, ce sont des musiciens de studio, ce sont des pros, donc quand ils ont enregistré un morceau comme Good Times, ils l'ont fait, puis ils l'ont oublié, et puis le morceau est devenu un hit, ils s'attendaient plus, parce qu'on était dans cette période où le disco craignait, comme ils disent, et c'est devenu un hit, et ils ont dû se retrouver à le faire dans des shows, à la télé par exemple, et ils ont dû réapprendre le morceau en backstage. Alors Good Times, pour nous, c'est la ligne de basse la plus connue peut-être de l'histoire de la musique, donc c'est assez drôle d'imaginer les gens qui ont écrit ces chansons en train de devoir la refaire comme ça. Do you know which track you did which has the most success, sampling and everything incorporated?
It's really difficult now to track all of that because people have gotten smarter and they do interpolations, and then also sometimes they sonically change it where it's really hard to track it with a watermark. It's so the ones that I know. So the ones that I know. The biggest is absolutely by far Rapper's Delight. Nothing can even come close. Because Rapper's Delight, when it first began, was only for sale as a 12-inch. And it was 3 times the price of a regular single. So it was $2.99 in America. $3. You got paid 3 times the multiple.
Alors de tous les disques qui ont été inspirés par Chic, celui qui évidemment, alors il a du mal à faire la trace de tous ces morceaux parce qu'il y en a, c'est même pas déclaré, il faut les retrouver, mais celui qui a le plus marché de loin, c'était Rapper's Delight, donc un des premiers tubes de hip-hop qui reprenait la basse de Good Times. So that means Good Times is the biggest selling record in every way it could have been done.
No, I think still The Freak would have been bigger because the sheer amount of singles. See, the way that things worked in the old days. This is before you, Ella, so it's cool. You're not in this.
C'est Alain de Warner, la remarque.
The way that it worked.
Payola.
The way that it's not even just the way that it worked in the old days was because we our contracts we would have a lot of the artists we'd have to pay for the free goods, and the free goods were promotional records, and we never really had a good system to keep track of that. So a lot of times when I was traveling on the road, you've heard the word cutouts. That's when they cut out the corner. And that record that's cut out at the corner is something that I pay for, and that's what the record company would give away to radio stations and people like that who are going to promote the single, which is perfectly fine. But what we would find is we would go to little mom and pop record stores, small stores, and we go in and every Chic record was cut out.
Ah, shit. So you didn't make any money for it.
And
Okay.
we paid for it.
You pay for it, wasn't that? Oh là là, je vous laisserai avec un dictionnaire d'anglais retrouver l'émission pour comprendre tout ce qu'elle dit. Nile Rodgers, let's go back. Early 70s, your choice was going to be the 24 Hours Mad Records Instant Karma of John Lennon and Phil Spector, or Sly and the Family Stone, Family Affair. I guess Sly must have been a great influence
Oh,
of
my
you.
God.
Or All Green, Tired of Being Alone.
I would have to say Sly. If you would have said Al Green, maybe Jesus is Waiting, but I'll definitely take Sly out of that.
Ok. Le choix de Nile Rodgers parmi ce que je lui propose en 1970, Sly and the Family Stone avec It's a Family Affair.
It's a family affair. Yeah, a family affair.
L'histoire de famille de Sly and the Family Stone. Did you met Sly Stone?
Oh, yes. Many,
yes?
many times.
Many times. Okay.
Yes.
Do you hear the cool story just happened to him recently that he finally gets back the money? For years, he was ripped off by his manager, and
Right.
now he finally gets millions.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
He got millions?
Oh yeah, this year.
Millions?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
should call him up and borrow some money.
I don't think you need that much money.
Yeah, I just saw him. I was saying while we were off mic that there's a YouTube video out right now with him in Japan playing with Tony Madden from Rufus. And Tony Madden is killing it. They sound amazing. And they're playing Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself.
Bah alors, il dit qu'il faut aller voir une vidéo sur YouTube. On voit un concert récent de Sly Stone avec Tony Tony?
Yeah, Tony Madden
Okay.
from Rufus.
Ok. Rufus and Chaka Khan?
Yeah,
Okay.
except Chaka Khan's not there.
et on peut voir des choses absolument incroyables. When in these 2.5 years of craziness of the Chic, Sister Sledge, did you make a lot of live thing? Did you, for example, did you do a tour in France? I don't remember. No.
You know what happened is that we came to France to do a show, and the venue had poor wiring. We were playing. It's a famous park here. I can't remember where it was, but what?
Le
Is that
Jardin.
what it is?
Okay,
Oh, was it Le Jardin?
Le Jardin.
And the wiring was bad, so our technical crew said, "Hey, come on, you gotta fix this before they go on stage." We got all the girls with the violins, and the promoter just didn't care.
Didn't care.
So we just said we just can't do that. It's too risky. So we didn't play, and it's unfortunate because France is very important to Chic because when we started out, we pretended like we were from France in America, and that's what made us cool because people didn't know. They were wondering like, man, how could this French band play this sort of sophisticated type of funk? And we were saying, yeah, because we're from France. That's what we do.
J'ai l'affiche. I got the sleeve of the Jardin
Yeah,
show
right.
you nearly have done.
Oh, you're kidding. Look at that.
et donc c'était au Jardin, mais ce concert n'a jamais eu lieu parce que le manager n'avait strictement rien à faire du fait que les micros étaient pas bien branchés et donc ils ont jamais pu faire ce show. But it was such an intense time, I guess, that you didn't have the time to think about it in these 2.5 years. It was so crazy, so quick, and it was over so fast too. That it must have been. You, I don't know.
No, you said it perfectly. Like I said, all I have to do is just go, yeah, you're right. Yeah, if you think about our first single coming out in around spring of 1977, and our last big record in summer of 79, we were done. That's it. 2 years. And in that time, we probably sold, I'm just guessing, I'll just do quick math, I would say maybe if you think about We Are Family, He's the Greatest Dancer. People forget that He's the Greatest Dancer by Sister Sledge, their debut album, their debut single with us, was a Platinum Plus single.
Okay.
So
C'est un disque de platine.
yeah, that's, you know, in America in those days, that was 2 million.
Ok. Donc rien que ce disque, c'était 2 millions. So in total,
I would guess maybe about 40 million units or something like that, and in a short, maybe not that, maybe about 30 million units in that short period of time.
Au moins 30 millions de disques ont été vendus dans ce temps court. Well, it's nearly over. Let's talk just a bit about Thomas and Guy Manuel and the Daft Punk
Let's
thing.
talk about them.
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
Did you knew them before Random Access Memory?
Yes, of course. We met almost 20 years ago.
Did you know the father of Thomas, Daniel?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how you met the guys? Or?
Yeah, I met them. They came to New York when they were doing their very first listening party. And I don't know why. Oh, right, because they had that song Defunct. But I was going to say, for some reason, I got invited to the listening party.
Of Homework, so in 96.
Yeah, it was that 96?
The Homework was 96, so I guess.
Yeah, so then wow.
20 years ago.
Oh, that's right, because, my partner died. Bernard Edwards died in 96. And when we met that night, they were telling me that that was a quiet dedication to him.
Okay.
So that's, you're right, absolutely. 96, so Bernard died in April of 1996.
Bah alors, ils se sont rencontrés il y a 20 ans, à l'époque de la sortie de Homework. And is it the story true that you were in the kitchen with Guiman and Thomas and you were doing pourquoi j'ai oublié le titre du tube là? Aidez-moi. Get Lucky. You were doing the Get Lucky riff in the kitchen, and Thomas or Guy Manuel told you, that's the one.
What were we in the kitchen? We were in a recording studio.
You were. I thought you were enjoying. And no, it was in a recording studio that you found the riff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where did the kitchen part come from? I don't know.
My memory.
Okay, no. So at Electric Lady, that's the studio where we first recorded our first hit single with Chic, Dance, 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 Yowza, Yowza, Yowza. And when I came down to the studio to work on the record, I told them that. And I'm sure they thought that they were Chic experts and they knew everything because most Chic records were made at a place called the Power Station. But the first records were made at 2 different studios. And one of them was Electric Lady. When I told them that, they freaked out. They were like, oh, my God, this is history now. And they asked me, how did we make Chic records? So the only way that maybe the kitchen part could have possibly come up is the studio is right here, and then the lounge is directly off to the like in other words, like right there where that guy is sitting outside that window would be the equivalent of the lounge. And in the lounge, they do have coffee and microwave and stuff like that.
So maybe it's there.
Yeah. So when I was coming up with the part, I always play complicated. And the reason why I do that is because I'm figuring out all of the little riffs, like the little jazzy riffs that I'm going to do in between. So when I first started playing, I would have probably been doing something like not that this would go on the record, but I'm just fooling around going. And I'm all I'm doing is looking for stuff, I'm going, and I'm thinking about where the riffs are going to come. So then Thomas asked me, he says, "Hey man, since you did the first Chic record here, how did you guys make Chic records?" So I said, "Oh, well, the key to it is I would play. So if that was the chord progression, what I would normally do making Chic records, I would go." Oops, but I play the right notes. So I'm working out, I'm blocking. Something like that. So then I started working that out, and then I came up with. So you hear the lick, you hear to get lucky in that.
And who said
Right.
this is it? Was it you or was it one of
I think if I remember correctly, I would think that the real decision came from the look on Guy-Man's face.
Okay.
Because at first,
yeah.
he didn't look like he was so happy because I was fooling around.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I locked into the part, I could see him sort of smile. And then when I saw the smile, I was like, okay, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, whereas, you know...
Ok, c'est la réaction, c'est le visage de Guy Manuel qui s'est illuminé à un moment qu'on fait qu'ils se sont dit c'est bon, c'est ça, on a Get Lucky, on a le morceau. We could have talked for hours. We won't listen to it, but if you had to choose in the 80s between AC/DC, we talk about that, Bob Marley and Prince, who could have been?
Oh, man,
That's
it's really hard. I would, in a weird way, I would have to go with Prince. Because I look at Prince in a strange way. I think he's like one of my superheroes of all time. So I would go with Prince. I mean, he's ridiculous.
You played with him recently,
Yeah, I
right?
just played with him not too long ago. It was great.
Yeah.
It was, and it's funny too because he came to a Chic show last New Year's Eve. And he kept saying, nah, I got to play rhythm guitar with you. I got to do it. I was like, okay, Prince, it's cool. It's no big deal. So he said, no, but I really have to do it. And I said, all right, great. Well, what do you want to do? He says, I want to do Let's Dance. And I kept thinking to myself, well, no, I got that covered. What are you going to do on it? Well, when he came out and played with me, I understood. It was so funky. It was insane. And I think I'm pretty funky, but when we played together, it was better than I could have ever expected. And once again, so you know how Prince takes everything off the internet? Like you put up something and he takes it down? Well, we were playing together and this was one of the greatest honors of my life. When we posted it, Prince not only did he not take it down, he reposted it and said, no words. He put our hands are up in the air, we both are playing. He goes, no words.
Bon, c'est une belle anecdote pour terminer. Ils ont fait un concert ensemble avec Prince. Prince a voulu jouer Let's Dance. Et normalement, Prince enlève tout sur Internet. Il n'y a rien de Prince, mais là, il a fait du no comment. Il a mis la vidéo, il l'a reposté, il l'a reliqué de ce show de Nile Rodgers avec Prince. C'était il n'y a pas si longtemps d'ailleurs, et on peut le voir sur YouTube. Thank you very much, Nile.
Thank you, bro.
I hope you're gonna have a LP soon and other adventures with different musicians because it's the life you have since years and years.
I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop.
Okay. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you on Radio Nova.
Same here. I will be back. I promise.
Cool.
Nova.
Le grand